Welcome everyone, my name is Sumit Jangre and I am a final year veterinary student in LUAS. Today I would like to discuss about Introduction to Veterinary Parasitology. Parasitology is the study of phenomena of parasite and parasitism. Parasitism is an association between two animals of different species in which one is metabolically dependent on other. Parasite is defined as an animal or organism that live either inside or on the body of different species of animal and directly draws nutrition from it. There are different types of parasite and some of them are listed below. The first one is endoparasites. Endoparasites are those that live inside the organ or tissue or body cavity or body fluid of the host. Example, liver fluke, lung fluke. Ectoparasites are those which lives on the surface of the host, like ticks, mites. Mesoparasites are those which enter and parasitize the external orifices of host body, like Otobius magnini in ear of dog. Hyperparasite is one which parasitize other parasite, means a parasite over other parasite. Pseudoparasites are those structures which are not parasite but can be misinterpreted as a parasite because of their resemblance with them. Obligatory parasite is one which must spend at least a part of its life cycle as parasite to complete its life cycle. Facultative parasite is one which doesn't rely on any host for its life cycle but can act as a parasite in certain hosts, like larva of flesh fly. Erratic or aberrant parasite is one which reaches an unusual site inside the body of host. Means, for example, when liver fluke reaches to lung instead of liver. Accidental or incidental parasite is one which enter into the body of host of species different than its natural one. Example, ingestion of eggs of Toxocara canis by man. Parasite that spends its entire life on a host is known as permanent parasite. Example, Trichinella, spiralis, Melophagus, ovinus. Temporary parasite is one which only visits its host for food and then leaves. Example, mosquitos. Monoxenous parasite is one which has direct life cycle. Means direct life cycle means that it doesn't involve any kind of intermediate host. Intermediate hosts are those which harbors the asexual stages of the parasite. Example, Ex-ascaris. Heteroxenous parasite is one which has indirect life cycle, means its life cycle involve one or more than one intermediate host. To example, fasciola hepatica, Paragonimus westermani. Stenogenous parasite is one which has a narrow host range, or we can say it is host specific. Example, trichomonas, hookworms. Uregenous parasite is one which has a broad host range. Example, trypanosomiasis, Trichinella spiralis. Histozoic parasite is one which lives within cells and tissue of the host. Example, coccidian parasites. Coelozoic parasite is one which inhabits the lumen of the intestine or other hollow organs of the host. Example, tapeworms. These are the different type of host. First is definitive host. Definitive host is one that harbors the sexual stages of the parasite. Intermediate host is one which harbors the asexual stages of the parasite. Example, snail for Paragonimus westermani and tsetse fly for trypanosomiasis. Reservoir host means vertebrate animals which possesses the parasitic infection but they do not show any clinical sign and they can act as a source of infection to other susceptible hosts. Carrier host is a vertebrate animal which has suffered from an infection and in later stages carry the infective organism in its body without showing any clinical signs. Transport host means host which gives the shelter to parasite and transfer it from one host to another susceptible host, and in transport host no development of parasite takes place. Amplifier host in which parasite lives and multiplies exponentially. These are the different types of animal associations. First is commensalism. It is an association between two organisms of different species in which one derives nutrition from other without causing any harm. So it means eating on a same table. Example, intestinal bacteria like E. coli. Mutualism, it is a non-obligatory association between two organisms of different species in which both are benefited by each other. Symbiosis and mutualism are similar, but there is only one difference, that mutualism is non-obligatory while symbiosis is obligatory association. So as it is written there, it is an obligatory association between two organisms of different species in which both are benefited by each other. Parasitism, it is an association between two organisms of different species in which one is metabolically dependent on another. Example, fasciola, hepatica. Fifth one is predatorism. It is a short-term relationship between two individuals in which one is benefited at the expense of other. Phorosis means traveling together. It is a temporary relationship between two organisms of different species with no metabolic dependence. Example, bacteria and amoebic cysts that are found on the legs of different flies. There are two types of life cycle. First one is direct life cycle. In direct life cycle, there is no involvement of any intermediate host between parasite and its definitive host. Example, strongyloids. In indirect life cycle, there is involvement of either one or more than one intermediate host. Example, the life cycle of liver fluke, Paragonimus, westermani, life cycle of cystosomes. These are the mode of transmission of parasites. First one is oral route. Example of this is Haemonchus contortus. Second one is through the skin penetration. Example, hookworms and the blood fluke. Third one is transplacental or transuterine. Example, Ankylostoma caninum, which is a hookworm. Fourth one is transmammary or transcolostral. Example is Toxocara vitulorum. Fifth one is through inhalation. Example is oocyst of Cryptosporidium bailey. Sixth is through coitus. Example is trophozoites of Trichomonas bovis. And seventh one is through direct body contact. Examples are ticks, mites. Thank you.